Our soil is dying so fast, scientists say we have only 60 harvests left. But medieval farmers solved this exact crisis 700 years ago. 1300 AD, Europe's soil was exhausted. For centuries, the population had boomed and the land had been pushed to its limits. The same fields were plowed year after year, with little rest and even less replenishment. The vital nutrients that once made the earth fertile were stripped away, leaving behind tired, depleted dirt that could no longer sustain life. The once bountiful harvests began to shrink, then wither entirely. Crops failed on a continental scale. Famine, a gaunt and terrifying specter, spread its shadow across the land. Villages that had thrived for generations became ghost towns, their granaries empty, their people gaunt with hunger. It was a slow, creeping catastrophe, a crisis born from the very ground beneath their feet. The methods that had worked for their ancestors were no longer enough. The soil was dying, and with it, the hope for survival. Then, pushed to the brink of collapse, desperate farmers began to experiment. They looked to the earth not as a resource to be endlessly exploited, but as a living system to be nurtured. Through trial, error, and sheer necessity, they discovered soil secrets so powerful, so effective, they didn't just halt the collapse, they reversed it. They learned to transform barren dirt into black, rich loam, creating the most fertile and resilient farmland in history. They built a foundation of agricultural abundance that would last for centuries, a legacy of sustainability written in the earth itself. These are not mere historical footnotes. They are proven, practical techniques for soil regeneration. And these are the very secrets we've forgotten in our modern age of chemical shortcuts and industrial agriculture, forgotten just when we need them most. As our own soil faces a similar crisis, their ancient wisdom holds the key to our future. Let's dive into the first two secrets, which together form a powerful technique I call the fire transformation. It begins with a concept that seems counterintuitive today, but was revolutionary for medieval farmers. Using fire not for destruction, but for creation. Secret 1. Controlled burning that supercharges soil nutrients. This wasn't about scorching the earth. It was a precise, low-temperature burn, what we now call pyrolysis. Medieval farmers discovered that by carefully managing the fire's speed and intensity, they could char the leftover stalks and roots from the previous harvest without destroying the soil structure beneath. This process didn't just clear the field, it unlocked a treasure trove of nutrients like phosphorus and potassium that were previously trapped in the tough plant matter. The result was a form of biochar, a carbon-rich substance that dramatically improved soil fertility and water retention. They learned to burn against the wind to keep the fire slow and cool, ensuring the organic material was transformed, not incinerated. This single technique was so effective that records show it could increase crop yields by an astonishing 400%. But the fire itself was only half of the equation. The true genius was in what they did next. Secret 2. The ash application method. The second part of the transformation involved adding a specific type of ash back into the soil. They observed that not all ash was created equal. Ash from softwoods like pine was acidic and less beneficial. But the ash from dense hardwoods, such as oak and hickory, was a completely different story. It was packed with calcium, magnesium, and a wide array of essential trace minerals. This hardwood ash acted as a natural liming agent, raising the soil's pH to the optimal level for nutrient absorption by plant roots. They developed a system. After the controlled field burn, they would meticulously spread a thin, even layer of this potent hardwood ash across their plots. They would then gently rake it into the top few inches of earth, often just before a rain, allowing the minerals to dissolve and integrate deeply into the soil. This combination of biochar from the field burn and mineral-rich ash from hardwoods created a soil ecosystem so resilient and fertile that its effects weren't just seen in the next harvest, but for decades. It built a foundation of fertility that lasted for generations. a stark contrast to our modern methods that deplete soil year after year. This two-part fire transformation was the cornerstone of their agricultural miracle. Secret 3. The animal manure compost recipe. Medieval farmers perfected ratios that modern science only recently understood. Secret 4. The crop rotation pattern that prevents soil depletion. This 7-year system kept soil fertile for centuries without chemicals. Secret 5. The terracing system that stopped erosion. Medieval farmers built structures that preserved topsoil for hundreds of years. Secret 6. The water channeling method. Using simple gravity, they created self-watering fields that survived droughts. Secret 7. The backyard soil revival system. How to apply these techniques to save your garden and grow food in the poorest soil. These techniques were abandoned for chemical shortcuts that now threaten our entire food supply. Modern farming is destroying soil 100 times faster than it forms. The good news is, you don't need a sprawling farm or expensive, complicated equipment to start reversing the damage. The solution can begin right in your own backyard, using simple items you likely already have. This isn't just about gardening, it's about reclaiming your food independence and building a resilient future, one patch of earth at a time. We're going to create your personal soil rescue plan, a powerful modern application of these time-tested medieval principles. It starts with 3 humble items you probably consider waste: wood ash, kitchen scraps, and cardboard. These are the foundational building blocks. Wood ash, a byproduct of your fireplace, is a powerhouse of potassium and lime, essential for correcting soil acidity and providing nutrients. A direct echo of the medieval slash and char techniques. Your daily kitchen scraps, vegetable peels, coffee grounds, eggshells, are a treasure trove of nitrogen and organic matter, the very fuel for the soil food web. And plain cardboard, a carbon-rich material, serves as the perfect base layer to suppress weeds and slowly decompose, feeding the beneficial fungi and bacteria that create healthy soil structure. By combining these materials using a method inspired by medieval composting and land layering, you kickstart a powerful biological process. This isn't just piling up trash, it's a deliberate recipe for life. The cardboard base acts as a weed barrier and a slow-release food source for earthworms. The kitchen scraps provide the nitrogen-rich green layer that heats up the pile and accelerates decomposition. When you combine this with the mineral-rich wood ash and other brown materials like dried leaves or straw, you create the perfect carbon-to-nitrogen ratio. This balance is the secret key, perfected by medieval farmers through centuries of trial and error, that invites an army of microorganisms to move in and begin their transformative work. This combination of simple household items, when applied with the wisdom of these forgotten medieval techniques, can transform compacted, dead earth into rich, black, fertile soil in as little as 1 season. You are essentially creating a supercharged ecosystem in a box. The process bypasses the slow, natural formation of topsoil, which can take hundreds of years, and delivers a thriving garden bed ready for planting. This is how you fight back against the soil crisis. It's practical, it's effective, and it starts today with what you already have. With global topsoil disappearing and food prices skyrocketing, these medieval secrets are no longer historical curiosities. They're essential survival skills for every gardener and farmer. Medieval farmers saved civilization from soil collapse. Now you can, too. Watch our next video to discover more forgotten survival skills that solve modern crises.